Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Town Chelmsford Finance Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information, the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with the right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website at www.chelmsfordma.gov. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so accessing the Chelmsford Telemedia website at www.chelmsfordtv.org. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Now we've called to order. We have two sets of minutes to approve. The first is our October 1st, 2020 set of minutes. Has anyone had a chance to review them?
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
All right, I'll take an order. I'll take a
Make a motion to accept the notes of October 1st as presented.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm abstaining because I wasn't there.
All right, thank you.
I need to abstain because I didn't read them.
Okay. The October 1st minutes, Anita?
Oh, those minutes. Oh yeah, no, okay, then I'm fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
So six yeas and an abstention, Pam. Thank you. The second set of minutes is from February 11th, 2021. Has anyone had a chance to review those?
I have a very small notation. Amina is listed as both present and absent, and she was absent. So.
A neat little trick
Listen,
there.
I am good, but I am not that good.
Wow. Very good. I also had a quick admin that I sent you, Pam, on page 2.
Okay.
Is that by chance regarding the Shoba?
That to the, not a big deal.
Okay. With that, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes of February 11th as amended.
Do a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays or abstentions?
I'm abstaining.
All right, Anita and Amina. Thank you. All right. Now we
Sorry,
have
can I just ask one clarification? Anita, were you a yes or abstain on the October 1st? Because it's, I thought you made an indication. you
yes.
were okay.
Yes for October
Yep. Okay.
25th.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Next on our agenda, we have a review of the fiscal year 22 budget for the Cemetery Commission. With us this evening, we have David Boyle from the Cemetery Superintendent. Hi, Dave. How are you? You are muted. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
I'm well. How is everybody?
Good. Thank you.
How do you want to? How would you like to proceed? Just start out with my budget, or
Start with your budget, and if there are any
Okay.
questions, we'll certainly chime in.
okay. Well, as far as the budget goes this year, really there isn't a lot of change. Actually, the expenses is down just a touch. On the personnel side, the increase is just due to step increases. My guys have all they're non-union now. We're all non-union, so they're under the PTO. They're under the personnel board. So it's just a matter of step increases and so forth like that. As far as that goes.
I know, David, you met with David. You didn't have any comments or concerns on that, correct?
That's correct.
All right. How is the work going with the with the? I know
Expansion? So actually, I have a couple of projects going on. The actually the niche wall that is due in hopefully next week. It'll be installed. So at Pine Ridge Cemetery. So that's a positive. I actually already have. It's a 60. It's the same thing as what's out there now. A 64 unit. And I already have 25 sold.
Oh wow.
It's not even there yet. So Yeah, so that's moving right along. I'm actually for the, for Springtown meeting, I'll be looking for, you know, transfer to actually get the, another wall up. So there'll be 4 of them at Pine Ridge. And then directly behind that, we're in the process of that expansion. Right now, it's about 3.5 acres. And we are at the point just before winter, we were able to get hydro seeded. All the structures are in, and it's just a matter of now, we just have to wait for that grass to come in. That won't be for sale, I would guess July of 22 at this point. It does have to sit for a year because of, you know, we can't be running equipment on it or anything like that, where it's just settled. So, but that's moving along too.
Hey, Dave,
Yes.
quick question. On the niche walls, are we charging the same for the new ones as the original ones?
Yeah, everything's the same price throughout the town. So yeah, everything's currently, I usually go up every couple of years on on the pricing, and it's not an incredible amount. It's $25, $50. Currently, what I did is I tier priced it. It's $1,000 for the top level, $900, $800, and then $700. And again, those prices won't change until March 22. So. So if anybody has any questions or any.
Jim, you're on mute. Maybe stuck on mute.
Hi, Kathy. I saw your comment. I'm just pulling up the what I believe is what Dave sent to me for the budget. Our David. Well, we both are Davids, but just for clarification purposes. Just bear with me one more second. Actually, I'm not seeing, I have the Council on Aging's numbers. I'm forwarding that, but I'm not seeing, David, the cemetery information.
I would have sent you both the budget and the head count.
For the cemetery?
Yep, and also for.
Yeah, I'm
the
seeing
senior
Council for Aging here, but I'm not seeing.
Well,
I hate dead air, but I want to make sure everybody has a copy of it.
well, in the future, I'll send it to everybody.
Yeah.
I sent it to you thinking you'd send it out with the.
And I didn't notice that you hadn't sent
week
it.
of
to
survey
everyone, so.
review. All right, my mistake.
No. I didn't notice that you hadn't. So it's my miss. Apologize for that. All right. Yeah. All right. So if you could take a, I don't know if you can see your email right now, Dave, but I'm just not seeing that email from you on the cemetery budget.
Okay, hang on. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to lose you when I do this.
Never mind then.
Well,
Do you want
well,
John Souza to
I-
screen share it, Jim?
actually, there's another way to do this.
We can certainly do that. John, I don't know if John has it available. I just sent everyone the Council on Aging that I'm seeing here in their email, but I'm not seeing.
I'm sorry, I should have, usually we have that big paper. You know, the
I know
complete,
it's a new world here with this.
it's a new world, so I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman,
And I'm sure it's all,
Hi, John.
sorry, if you give me a moment, I'll pull up the town manager's budget file and I can scroll to the cemetery page if that would
That
help.
would be fantastic,
one moment.
if you don't mind.
Yep.
So another while we're waiting, Dave, another wall you're planning on putting into the.
I'm gonna send it to you right now. I'll resend it to you.
Perfect.
I sent it to you on Thursday, so,
Okay.
okay, I'll do it again.
So
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm looking, I will be looking to put in the fourth wall, Pine Ridge, probably July, August, depending on when it can be delivered. But
Right.
what we did is back in the fall, we poured both pads. So we'll be able to just set the niche wall right on the pad, and it'll give some continuity too with 4 walls, the 2 in the middle and the 2 off to the side. So
Okay.
that should hold us, I would say another, well, it depends, but I'm guessing another 10 years. That should get us.
Okay. And then any other projects planned for any of the other cemeteries?
We're just gonna do a little over at Fairview at the niche wall. We're planning on doing some granite benches and just kind of personalize that also. Some granite benches. I actually a couple of years ago I used MassCore and that's the prison system. They do wrought iron down in Norfolk Prison. So I used them, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago to fabricate some benches for me at Pine Ridge, and they're in the process of doing that for me at Fairview now. So,
Okay.
So just to kind of improve that a little bit and just keep things progressing along there. So, but other than that, it's basically focusing on Pine Ridge and getting that finished. In the timing with what's going on in front of the cemetery right there at Workers Credit Union and so forth. We're working together. I let them use the new entrance off River Neck Road. So they're using that area there for their material storage and so forth. They have their trailer up there. So timing wise, as I'm getting ready to open that section, they should be leaving. So which is about 1.5 years. That's what they're telling me.
Perfect.
So it should be good timing.
I'm gonna let John share the screen here. He has it now.
And certainly if anybody has any questions later on, just call the office or myself, whatever.
All right, so there it is.
And so you'll see down below there on the personnel side, you'll see how as of FY, basically FY 20, my guys went non-union and went to the personnel side. So that's why you see PTO. So basically the vacation, holidays, personal days, sick days, wellness bonus, that really can all disappear as the years go along. Those lines won't be needed.
Okay.
It's just for history. But other than that, the expense side, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. Yeah. All right.
We still out of the cemetery, out of the perpetual care and interest income fund, that's how we fund our seasonal labor, which hopefully the snow will disappear soon and we'll be able to get that going. depending on once the snow leaves, I'll bring in, I have a college kid who comes in and he's been coming back. This will be his 3rd year back. So it's worked out well. And like I said, we cover that through the interest income we earn from the perpetual care fund.
Perfect. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? All right. I think we're all set.
Okay, great.
David, thank you very much for being here this evening.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Like I said, anybody has any questions, feel free to call anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, moving right along. Our next section we have is a review of the fiscal year 22 budget for the Council on Aging and Senior Center. And with us this evening is Deborah Siriani from the who's the Human Services Director. So Deborah, how are you? Thank you for joining us this evening.
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. All
So
right.
We were asked to present a level service budget, and so that's what this is. And the only increases are, just like Dave said, step increases for staff.
How are things going over at the senior center?
Going swimmingly. We're getting busier.
Okay.
We just started our AARP tax appointments this week for folks. So we have people in the building coming in, and we've got our social day program running with limited occupancy and split up into 3 different rooms to keep people away from each other. And that's been running since last August, and going well. And we have a couple of exercise classes in the main hall. We've had a vaccination clinic. We've had voting. So the building's been still pretty busy, but we miss our folks. We miss having it a bustling hub of activity. So
I'm sure.
But we've been running Meals on Wheels since March. We didn't stop. So we've been there with the staff since March and delivering Meals on Wheels. We have about 160 a day now.
How and correct me if I'm wrong, there was some capital work that was being done at the senior center that was planned to be done at the senior center. Is that ongoing right now, or has it been completed, or where are we with that?
We've started one step of it, which is the grease trap in the back of the building, and that's been put in. And then the rest, the design work, we changed from the original one after finding out we needed the grease trap and having the same budget. And so looks like we're going to be probably starting it in June. What happens is our kitchen needs to find a home to be in when it's renovated, and that was going to be a school, but now the schools look like they'll be maybe opening in April, not sure. So we don't want to be homeless. So we're going to wait until the school's open for us, and then we'll do the rest of the renovation then.
Okay.
How long a project is that?
Well, they say 6 to 8 weeks, which means it'll probably be a few months. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Kathy?
That's fine.
Am I muted or am I talking? I can't tell by my screen.
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to ask a couple questions.
Yeah.
So I'm looking here. Could you elaborate why the electricity, your expenses on electricity have kind of they were really high, like a few years ago, like 25, 23,000. Then they dipped for fiscal 20, which makes sense because of the, maybe not being there. And just explain how you came to the budget number of 18,000 when at one point it was 25,000. So
Sure.
what's happening with electricity?
So we ended up, the town went green for green energy, and so it was bundled into some other electricity programs with other departments. And so we got a deal, and they were working on efficiency, and so that's where it went down the most. And then this past year, we've been seeing the rates are higher for one, but then also we've had to keep our main hall open and ventilated when we have activities in there. So unfortunately, that's costing us a lot more in fuel costs.
Thank you. That's good. I wanted to ask, you mentioned the Meals on Wheels that you continued it, but it looks like your actual was way down, like your actual expense. So
that was actually some funding that we got at the end of the year, grant money that was put back into this account.
okay, so I guess that leads me to the question, maybe further down the page, is there an elaboration of grants that you get? And I think you have some, it's not the Friends of the Senior Center or whatever, like, do you have a reckoning of other monies that you receive that are not, directly from the town?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I keep all of my revolving accounts. And we have, gosh, about 13 revolving accounts, different ones for different programs. So I can furnish that for you. I can give that to you if you like. I keep the personnel budget. I would say, just to give some information, the personnel budget that is paid by the town is $375. The one for the one with paid by all the funding, the other funding, like our contracts with elder services and our grant monies and our donations from the Friends is more like $390 something this year. So we have at least the same amount that we're paying out of grant funds, that, more so than what the town's paying for. Well, that's all in a spreadsheet I can send to you.
Yeah, I think that would be good, because I think that it'd be good for the citizens to know that your budget is augmented by grants and the Friends of Seniors and charitable contributions or whatever. I mean, I think that's
Sure.
A feather in your cap to know that you're getting those additional funds. I wanted to ask too about what happened with was there additional cleaning expenses? I mean, I know you hosted the vaccinations a couple of times. So were there extra costs associated with those activities?
Yes, and we were able to actually put those in as COVID expenses. So those were put under a different account that was not our budget.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
I've got one that's not directly tied to the budget, I guess, but I know in the Word document that the goal, kind of the mission and the goal, which is again in reference to building maintenance.
Yeah.
I know I've seen that before, so I'm sure you're just beating the drum on that. But I think this
I
year
am.
I noted for the first time, or maybe it was there last year, the comment about how, a lot of things you've got supplies for, it's just time and labor. And what triggered that was, few of us met with Neshoba Tech last week, and Dr. Pigeon always makes the pitch of, if there's any projects in town that the students can help out with, they're happy to do that. So if not necessarily in Neshoba, are there any other, charitable volunteer, either through the school, Boy Scouts, that if it's just a matter of getting a body to do something that could be able to actually help in that regard?
Well, this year has been tougher because of that. We've had partnerships with Neshoba. We've had partnerships with Chelmsford High School, with work opportunities, some folks who are disabled to come and help us out. But because of COVID, we've had to shut down a lot of that programming. We have limitations of how many people are allowed in each space. So most of our volunteer programs, unfortunately, suffered this past year.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
You see that picking up in the future again, where you'll be able to bring in more organizations like that potentially to do things as Eric mentioned for.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And things, I don't know if how involved Scouts BSA has been or Girl Scouts have been, but if they haven't been, I think that'd be a great opportunity for service projects and stuff like that.
Yeah, the point though that you were trying to make, Debbie, if I remember correctly, was that you're sharing the supervision. The actual work that's done is supervised by the town, right? Not by somebody that reports directly to you. You have them on a part-time basis. Is that?
No, he reports directly to me, but he also reports half-time to the facilities manager and DPW director.
Right. So you're only getting half a person.
He has lots of bosses. Yeah, I get 20 hours. I get 20 hours a week with my maintenance supervisor. And thank goodness there's some flexibility. We had a drainage problem in the kitchen this past week, and he came back and stayed until 10 o'clock at night. And he was supposed to be at town hall. So that, we kind of work it out in some ways. And if that's not right, you didn't hear that. No, but he's very flexible, and we're flexible with each other. So it's a plus in that way. But sometimes we just need him there on the on site. And it's not something a volunteer can do. Of course, it's maintenance of the building. So.
Well, that was the point I was trying to make, is that if you had volunteers, they still need to be supervised. And that's somewhat of your issue, I guess.
Yeah, we're not talking painting things or things like that. Those things we can get volunteers for, or we've used the prisoner program as well before a few different times. So we've definitely used those opportunities, and it's about when things break and we need someone there who knows what's going on. And we all go, oh gosh, call Dan. So.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Debbie. Nice seeing you. Hopefully things start heading towards a little bit more normal, and good luck with getting the programs back up and running.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you too. All right. Moving right along in our agenda this evening, our next discussion is on the fiscal year 22 budget for the Community Preservation Committee. And with us this evening is Linda Prescott, the chair of the committee. Hi, Linda. How are you?
Okay. How about you?
Good, thanks. Thank you for joining us this evening.
I call this the State of the CPC address. Overall, our budget looks very healthy. I think you all have a copy of it.
Yes, and I'm actually going to share my screen and put that up as well.
I won't get too technical, but we're pretty healthy right now, so that we can take on some larger projects. Bonding is not a problem for us. We're paying, we're paying off town hall was two town halls were last year. And of course, town clerk came right in with a $500,000 request for preservation of records. But we're very healthy. The fund is a revolving fund, and it's how much money we get in. It is fed every quarterly with taxes, real estate taxes. This year will be very interesting because COVID has affected our lives, and now half of the towns in the state have voted CPC. Large places like Worcester, Springfield, large cities. So they're going to put a stress on our budget, the statewide budget. But on the other hand, real estate is hot, and 100% of the profit from the registry of deeds comes to us. So, it's going to be very interesting. We're just going to have to wait and see. So we're just waiting for our next project, I guess, and we're very healthy.
Excellent. Does
My
anybody have any questions?
My question to Darlene every year is make it simple. And I just want to know how much money we have to spend. Well, one year John showed up and told us we were broke. We couldn't spend anymore.
I remember that year.
I think I was chairman that year for the first year.
All right. All right, I'm not seeing any questions, so I am going to stop sharing my screen. And then moving right along, we also have you here for a review of warrant article 26. We can take it in conjunction with 27. Actually, on 26 first, the CPC playground equipment at Varney and Southwell.
Right. We were approached by the DPW because the two playgrounds they've hit the end of their lifetime. They just aren't worth repairing if they could repair equipment at all. So Varney is coming in with really a lovely playground. It will be handicapped accessible. The equipment's durable. It's time. So they're coming in, and I forgot how much they're requesting. So they're coming in for $285,000. They do have other sources in kind. They'll be installing the equipment and doing that type of work. So, and this playground should be ready for another 20 years.
Are they planning on removing at Varney what's currently there, or how are they handling that?
Yes, because some of it's wood, it gets splinters, it gets old, dries out. They'll be removing it, they'll be resurfacing it, and then installing the new equipment.
Have they shown you any concepts for what they're looking for and what they're?
I do have some pictures of equipment that they think that they will be installing, but they're basically, actually, I don't have it for Varney. I just have what's wrong with Varney. Yeah. I do have a plan.
So
concept plan, but it will function like the old one.
Okay.
And it will be more contemporary, I think.
Okay. And how about Southwell? That same type of situation?
Well, Southwell has reached the end of its life. It has a lot of issues, as in they want a handicapped accessible swings that are usable for the handicap. So they're going to be doing really quite a big job. They're going to put down some special, that special covering and replacing all the equipment. And I think there's some tables going in for families. It's going to be more involved than what is there now.
Okay. So that'll be good with the softball field there and everything.
Yeah.
That'll be a nice addition to that area.
Yeah, and people just like to go down and use it too, near the water, and it's just a pleasant place to be.
Good. Do they each have timelines for construction or?
These will be up and ready to go next summer.
Okay.
It's as soon, I'm sure, as soon as they can push the dirt around, they're going to be doing that.
Fair enough. Any questions on the playgrounds?
Actually, I don't have a question on the playground, but I wanted to ask a question about future projects. What is the process for applying for projects, or how does that go?
Well, they submitted application, and it's on our website, and it has to fall into several different categories, which is mandated by the act itself. So it's just a very simple questionnaire they fill out. They come to the meeting, they talk about the project, present their financial requests. They usually have a PowerPoint, so we know what the end will look like and why they are seeking the money, and ask our questions. Sometimes we have somebody go back and rework their request, or just because we need to make that request something that town meeting would understand, so it will pass, because we're like gatekeepers. We make sure that the projects are qualified, and then of course they go to town meeting, because really this is all town money.
I'm just curious, would, in general, and this just has been popping into my head, would, the ongoing situation with putting the wires underground in the center of town, is there any way that would fall under historic? Because, it would be returning to a more historic environment. Maybe Paul could speak to that, or you could just see whether off the top of your head, that would be a big no.
I'm not sure it qualifies. And I'm not sure it's something that we would like to spend the money on. It really isn't the purpose of the fund. You can ask Paul, I'm sure he has his ideas.
Okay, well, it just,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. It just.
No, I think Linda's got it right there. It's not clear if it would qualify, nor is it clear that it would be acceptable to the community, which are the two ones. We're trying to work with our legislative delegation to get Verizon on board on that project. So I think I want to exhaust that first.
Thank you.
Looks like we won't find out until the fall anyway, whether or not we'll have an adjusted legislative delegation as well. We'll see. Go ahead.
The other thing which I failed to mention was I'm very happy about the pole farm, the farm that we acquired as a community. I think that's great, and
that's
just compliments all around.
Coming up in the next article.
Okay.
All right, and finally we have. As a prelude to that, the review of warrant article 27, the CPC parking area improvements at Warren Pole.
Yes, the Conservation Commission jumped right in, and they will be coming to us again with other expenses, but they did want to get the parking lot up and working. As we all know, as soon as the snow clears, people are going to be wandering that piece of property, and they need a place to park. So the DPW is putting in a parking lot for 20 cars, and the access will be off of Boston Road, just 95 Boston Road. And this money is to get the parking lot paved and striped, and that will happen very early in the season.
Okay.
Now there'll be some parking on the other side by right reservation, but I have been told that the reservation has an endowment and they will be using that money.
Okay, good to know. Any questions?
outside of what is going through the CPC, but is the right reservation parking also the same timeline roughly? That's going to be a spring. Yeah, I see
Yeah.
Paul nodding, so yeah. Okay, thank you.
I can see in the spring they'll be working on fencing. They have to improve the access road from the right reservation into Warren Pole property. So they'll be doing a lot of work very early because safety is really right up in the top of the list.
Thank you.
So Linda, if you do have any pictures of these, if you could send them along by email, both the playground equipment and the just the proposed lot. I know I think we'll be talking with Comcom probably the next couple of weeks just regarding their other article they have. But if you could send those along, that'd be great, and we'll take a look at them when we redo our final review and put them up, because I know people love to see those things, especially when it comes to money being spent. So it's always nice to have a visual.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. All right. Moving right along, we've reviewed the budget hearing and Springtown meeting warrant articles schedule. So let me just pop up the current liaison list right here. Okay. So, and Anita, I know you'd offered to do this online, but we talked about this a couple of years ago. We tried to do it online, and there are too many quirks that occurred, but also we were just concerned about making sure that we were adhering to open meeting laws and avoiding any unnecessary discussions that might pop up with scheduling. So I think we'll just keep this going. I'll email this and circulate it after this evening, but I've heard from a number of people and that have reached out about dates and times. And so right now, next week, we do not have a meeting. And that's because they have the appeals board meeting at the same time. And so, as I mentioned last week, we've agreed to, for scheduling purposes, not to hold one next week, but to continue with 311 for our next meeting. And so for that meeting, we currently have scheduled the DPW, which includes wastewater, sewer, stormwater, public facilities, and a number of warrant articles that Eric and I reviewed with the DPW this week. So we'll be able to go through all those, including things such as PSAF, the trucks that they're talking about, the culverts, and things of that nature. We also had a request for PEG access that week as well. I spoke with Pete earlier today, and he'd love to come in on the 11th, and I'm happy to have him. And thank you, Vicky, for reaching out on that as well. So he'll come in on the 11th as well. And then finally, on the 11th, we currently have scheduled Neshoba Valley Technical High School District, and so they'll be in on the 11th. We do have some room for a couple that we don't have scheduled, haven't met with yet. I know, Mina, we need to meet with Chief Spinney on the police, and I'll reach out to him, and so we can get that scheduled. And then,
Did you get my email about that?
I did, thank you. Yeah, so I will reach out to him and see what works best.
I can let you know that Chief Ryan would love for him to also present on the 18th.
Would he? To keep.
That was a request today. So
well, let's look at the 18th right now and see if that's gonna work, because the 18th is gonna be a fun night. The 18th, we currently have scheduled the Board of Health, the finance department with all of the accounting assessors, information technology, treasury, and collection. We have the fire department, the library, the veteran services, and I've also received a request from the citizens group Climate Change Resolution and the planning board and their zoning articles. So the 18th is going to be a busy night for sure.
Want me to see if Chief Ryan can push it out a week?
If he wants to go either on the 11th or if he wants to go on the 25th.
Yeah, we couldn't do the 11th, but I can see if you do the 25th.
Okay, that would certainly work. And then I know
Excellent.
we're still waiting on Chelmsford Public Schools. I don't know if they've expressed an interest in any of these dates. I know, Kathy, if you're trying to talk, you're muted right now.
Okay, I sent the latter dates off to Dr. Lang. We are meeting with him on Monday to go over the budget. And so I'll get a date then, but I know they did have their meeting and they did vote on their budget, so I assumed that he'd want one of the later dates, like the 25th or whatever's after the 25th.
Okay, I think, well, depending on when we talk, we'll see what works the best. And we'll go from there. Either the 11th, if they want to come in the 11th, they'd be the same night as Neshoba, like they always like they have been in the past, or the 25th. I obviously want to steer clear of the 18th, given the amount of things we have on there, especially with the zoning articles. And that was a request by them because they have a master plan committee meeting on the 25th, which a number of the members of the planning board are members of. And so they wanted to avoid any conflict with that. So yeah, those either the 25th or the 11th are currently available. The date after, I mean, normally that would be kind of our last day to vote, depending on how things go and what the schedule looks like. And I know, Paul, I know it's like shooting darts in the dark as far as what we're going to have available and whether or not we're going to be having a town meeting in April, which I'm guessing doesn't look likely. And so I think voting in April, if we reviewed everything, will be perfectly acceptable. And then maybe we'll have another meeting closer to the actual time of town meeting if we need to, if anything's adjusted, if we have new figures and new numbers, if we want to review anything that's come up in the interim prior to heading into town meeting. But I think that final night, either the 25th, depending on how many people attend and what we review, or that first week in April will be the night that we review and vote.
Okay, so I will pass that information on and we'll get back to you on Monday.
Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to reach out to Concom just to see if they want to speak briefly about their article regarding the transfer of the parcels to the Conservation Commission. And finally, I'll reach out to the other citizen petition is David Foley for the general bylaw amendment regarding the grinder pumps, and see if he wants to speak or present on that as well. Any questions?
Just to confirm, Dave, did you circle back with Dr. Pigeon on the date change? Because I know she had it, we left it with her on the 4th. Did you connect with her on the pushing it back a week? He's either really still or he's frozen.
The answer is, I believe, Eric, that he did, and I saw an email saying that the 11th worked.
Okay.
If my recollection is correct.
No, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Yeah, the 11th. She's on for the 11th and she's confirmed that.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. Okay. All right.
Jim,
So
have you scheduled Chief Spinney? I'm just he had asked me today. He was waiting to hear from you.
Yeah, no, Amina and I will be meeting with him.
Okay.
We were talking on the side. We'll reach out to him. He's just recently reached out to me, so I'll certainly be in touch with him, and we'll schedule a time, and we'll see whether or not he wants to present the same night as Chief Ryan. You know, keep that presentation competition going.
Oh yeah.
I just emailed Chief Ryan to see if he's okay with moving to the 25th, and I'll let you know.
Perfect. All right. So, having gone over that, I'll send around the schedule so everybody has a copy. And I'm not seeing any public for comment. I don't know if anyone has any comments they'd like to make. Seeing none and none in the chat, I will look for any press questions, which I am not seeing any press. Therefore, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'll see everybody in 2 weeks.
Right, see you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Night.
Good night.